Verses 1 to 2. Here is the general appointment given both for their orderly encampment where they rested and their orderly march when they moved. Some order, it is possible, they had observed hitherto. They came out of Egypt in rank and file, Ex 13:18, but now they were put into a better model. They all dwelled in tents, and when they marched carried all their tents along with them, for they found no city to dwell in, PS 107:4. This represents to us our state in this world. It is a movable state, we are here today and gone tomorrow, and it is a military state, is not our life a warfare? We do but pitch our tents in this world, and have in it no continuing city. Let us, therefore, while we are pitching in this world, be pressing through it. 2. Those of a tribe were to pitch together, every man by his own standard. Note, it is the will of God that mutual love and affection, converse, and communion, should be kept up among relations. Those that are of kin to each other should, as much as they can, be acquainted with each other, and the bonds of nature should be improved for the strengthening of the bonds of Christian communion. 3. Every one must know his place and keep in it. They were not allowed to fix where they pleased, nor to remove when they pleased, but God quarters them, with the charge to abide in their quarters. Note, it is God that appoints us the bounds of our habitation, and to him we must refer ourselves. He shall choose our inheritance for us, PS 47:4, and in his choice we must acquiesce, and not love to flit, nor be as the bird that wanders from her nest. 4. Every tribe had its standard, flag, or ensign, and it should seem every family had some particular ensign of their father's house, which was carried as with us the colors of each troop or company in a regiment are. These were of use for the distinction of tribes and families, and the gathering and keeping of them together, in allusion to which the preaching of the gospel is said to lift up an ensign, to which the Gentiles shall seek, and by which they shall pitch, Isa 11:10-12. Note, God is the God of order, and not of confusion. These standards made this mighty army seem more beautiful to its friends and more formidable to its enemies. The Church of Christ is said to be as terrible as an army with banners, Cant 6:10. It is uncertain how these standards were distinguished. Some conjecture that the standard of each tribe was of the same color with the precious stone in which the name of that tribe was written in the high priest's ephod, and that this was all the difference. Many of the modern Jews think there was some coat of arms painted in each standard, which had reference to the blessing of that tribe by Jacob. Judah bore a lion, Dan a serpent, Naphtali a hind, Benjamin a wolf, etc. Some of them say the four principal standards were, Judah a lion, Reuben a man, Joseph an ox, and Dan an eagle, making the appearances in Ezekiel's vision to allude it. Others say the name of each tribe was written in its standard. Whatever it was, no doubt it gave a certain direction. 5. They were to pitch about the tabernacle, which was to be in the midst of them, as the tent of pavilion of a general in the center of an army. They must encamp round the tabernacle, that it might be equally a comfort and joy to them all, as it was a token of God's gracious presence with them. PS 46:5, God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. Their camp had reason to be hearty, when thus they had God in the heart of them. To have bread from heaven every day round about their camp, and fire from heaven, with other tokens of God's favor, in the midst of their camp, was abundantly sufficient to answer that question, is the Lord among us, or is he not? Happy art thou, O Israel! It is probable that the doors of all their tents were made to look towards the tabernacle from all sides, for every Israelite should have his eyes always towards the Lord, therefore they worshipped at the tent door. The tabernacle was in the midst of the camp, that it might be near to them, for it is a very desirable thing to have the solemn administrations of holy ordinances near us and within our reach. The kingdom of God is among you. That they might be a guard and defense upon the tabernacle and the Levites on every side. No invader could come near God's tabernacle without first penetrating the thickest of their squadrons. Note, if God undertake the protection of our comforts, we ought in our places to undertake the protection of his institutions, and stand up in defense of his honor and interest and ministers. 6. Yet they were to pitch afar off, in reverence to the sanctuary, that it might not seem crowded and thrust up among them, and that the common business of the camp might be no annoyance to it. They were also taught to keep their distance, lest too much familiarity should breed contempt. It is supposed, from Joshua 3:4, that the distance between the nearest part of the camp and the tabernacle, or perhaps between them and the camp of the Levites, who pitched near the tabernacle, was 2,000 cubits, that is, 1,000 yards, little more than half a measured mile with us, but the outer parts of the camp must needs be much further off. Some compute that the extent of their camp could be no less than 12 miles square, for it was like a movable city with streets and lanes, in which perhaps the manna fell, as well as on the outside of the camp, that they might have it at their doors. In the Christian church we read of a throne, as in the tabernacle there was a mercy seat, which is called a glorious high throne from the beginning, Jah 17:12, and that throne surrounded by spiritual Israelites, 24 elders, double to the number of the tribes, clothed in white raiment, Revelation 4:4, and the banner over them is love, but we are not ordered, as they were, to pitch afar off, no, we are invited to draw near, and come boldly. The saints of the Most High are said to be round about him, PS 76:11. God by his grace keep us close to him.